Hey, what's up guys? Dylan Johnson from Soccer Mag here, and welcome back to another episode of Mixing with the DJs. I'm joined by my fellow DJ Dylan Jack, and today we'll be previewing Matchday 5 of the Premier League. But firstly, Dylan Jack is in a jubilant mood. Something unthinkable has happened. What has happened?
Manchester United have won back-to-back games. Can you believe it? United have dethroned, well, not really dethroned, but beaten the mighty Barnsley in the third round of the League Cup. In an absolutely historic clash, man. I mean, 10 goals scored now, back-to-back clean sheets. We are flying high. League Cup is where it's at, bro.
Yeah, and someone special got in the score sheet, someone close to your heart.
Oh, jeez. I assume you mean Marcus Rashford, because it's absolutely brilliant to see Marcus Rashford flying high, getting a brace, awesome. Garnacho got on the score sheet. Christian Eriksen got on the score sheet, and he was making front post runs in the 80th minute. You're facing and have a real competitive game when Christian Eriksen is galloping to the front post in the 80th minute of the match, and tapping in a goal. Who else scored? I don't think anyone else scored.
Okay, now that we've got that out your system,
yes,
should we get into the preview?
In all seriousness, it is actually good to see the structure starting to work for United. I mean, I've been critical of Ten Hag, obviously, at the beginning of the season, especially after that loss to Liverpool, but it does seem that things are starting to slowly pick up a bit of pace now, which is good. The formation is kind of working. Marcus Rashford has definitely got his confidence back. He's starting to do the things that we've seen Marcus Rashford do when he's had really good seasons: take players on, cut back on his left, on his right, take shots, get himself into the box. He's doing the things that we want that the vintage Marcus Rashford would do. So it's really, really good to see. Obviously, Garnacho, as we've said before, every time he's on the field, he makes an impact. And it presents Ten Hag with a really nice headache now, because Marcus Rashford was playing as the number 9 last night. He was just, he was excellent. Garnacho obviously on the left, Anthony on the right. Anthony getting a goal with a penalty. Actually was probably the less impressive of the forwards.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, which we're all shocked about, not really taking his opportunity. He got a goal. He did well to win that penalty, and really good hit for the penalty. But his sort of performance in open play wasn't amazing. No, not up to where Rashford and Garnacho were, he's probably still hasn't earned his place in the starting lineup yet, I would say. Got to see more of Ugarte, and he was as a starter, and he was also very, very impressive. I mean, a proper, South American performance. He had a flippin' hole stamped into his shin in the first half, and some other referee gave a free kick to Barnsley for that. But it was a proper battleless before. So, and not that he had a heck of a lot of cleaning up to do, but still really, really good in midfield. So, yeah, some good signs ahead of what is going to be a much, much tougher game.
So it is good to be on the other end of a 7-0.
Yes,
now we can both
now we know.
So, first up this week, we have West Ham versus Chelsea.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that? I think it's, what are your thoughts on that game?
It's an interesting one. It's a really, really difficult one to call, because West Ham have, as we've said before, have really underperformed according to expectations. Other than their win against Crystal Palace, they've they haven't really done a heck of a lot.
We've also said have underperformed. And that was a hard-fought win for West Ham. They haven't conceded a heck of a lot of goals, but they also haven't really scored much. They're not really pressing either side of the ball, I don't think. On the other hand, you have Chelsea, who, from first half to second half can wildly differ in their performances. So it's a really tough game to say who's going to take this. It really does depend on who pitches up on the day. Chelsea obviously boosted with Jadon Sancho coming in, seemingly settling in
quite nicely there. But yeah, I honestly don't know who's going to take this one. Obviously West Ham home side, but I think that this is a game where Chelsea, if they want to make into the top four, have to go and win, I think.
Yeah, I'm torn between a 1-1 draw or a 2-1 Chelsea win for the exact same reasons. I think could see West Ham going 1-0 up in the first half, but then Chelsea coming out for the second 45 and blowing them away.
Yes.
I think Chelsea's squad seems to be on the up.
Yes.
I think they're playing together. The chemistry's a lot better, and I think they're not as... even though we've said they differ from half to half, but I don't think they're as volatile in their performances week to week.
No.
So I think I'm going to give Chelsea the 2-1 win here, but I think it could easily be a 1-1. I'm not sure what your scoreline thoughts are.
Yeah, I'm thinking a 2-1 or a 3-1 to Chelsea. I think that would be fair. As you say, I think Chelsea just have the better depth than West Ham as well. They've got more options on their bench if they need to call on. I just think a 3-1 or a 2-1 to Chelsea.
Okay. Next up, we have Villa versus Wolves, who we'll chat about it later, but on the back of a great first Champions League win.
Yeah.
I think personally Villa should win this game.
Yes.
Maybe I'm thinking comfortably, but 2-0, maybe 2-1. Because I think Wolves not that strong in the season. They haven't really picked up. I don't think they've picked up many points. But they've also, I think over the past couple seasons they've been a fighting team where they, they're not necessarily easy to beat, but they just don't win many games.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. As you say, we'll get more into the Villa win later, but a really, really good win for them in Europe to start off their Champions League campaign. They'll be flying high after that. And Wolves have really, they haven't really been impressive. They've been sort of similar to West Ham. I think they've had a bit more of a leaky defence. So there's goals there for Villa if they want it. And Villa, we've seen they have the strike force. Even when Ollie Watkins is underperforming, they have a John Duran to call on from the bench. So, yeah, I think this is Villa's to lose.
Okay, what score?
I'm thinking a 2-0 or maybe even a 3-0 to Villa. Yeah.
Nice. After that, we have Fulham versus Newcastle. I think this is similar to the Villa Wolves in that Fulham will put up a fight, but I think Newcastle are too strong.
Yes.
And Fulham similarly difficult but don't get many wins against teams like Newcastle. I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle. I think they're starting to hit form, and I think they're too strong for Fulham.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm also thinking of sort of a 2-0 to Newcastle. I don't really know where... Emile Smith-Rowe started really well at Fulham, but I don't know where else their goals are or their chance creation is coming from. So it's sort of more simple for Newcastle to shut that attack down if they can keep Smith-Rowe quiet. Obviously there's a bit of an injury concern over Alexander Isak for Newcastle, but I mean, if he's fit, then this should be a comfortable win for Newcastle.
But I also think attacking-wise, they have good options.
Yes, they do. I mean, we saw
just as much a threat. Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, I was about to say they called on Harvey Barnes from the bench, and he helped turn that game around last weekend. So I think it will be a fairly comfortable win for Newcastle. I'm thinking 2-0. Yeah.
Okay, the battle of the bad. Leicester versus Everton. What do you think of this one?
What the heck is going to happen in this game? Because Everton in their past two games have just been doing this the whole time. I mean, Leicester as well. They've shown that they can scrap a goal out of nowhere, just through Jamie Vardy getting through. But and Everton have shown that they can get a couple of goals, but also throw away a 2-0 lead twice. And they don't have much of a defensive structure about them. They don't work especially hard on defense. They're coming off a tough result in the League Cup, lost on penalties. I have no idea how it's one of those relegation battles where you don't know where it's going to go. I do think that Everton do have more firepower than Leicester. They have more threats up front. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has started the season very, very well, as is Dwight McNeil, but they just don't work especially hard on defense. So there's going to be an opportunity for Jamie Vardy there to get through. I think this could be an entertaining 2-2 draw.
I'm also similar, torn between it could be 3-3 or a 1-1 or something like that. I have a feeling that Everton, I think they'll outscore Leicester in this game. I don't think it's going to be a defensive showcase. So I think I'm going to go for 2-1 Everton. But again, I have no idea what's going to happen because I think both teams could go and score 3 goals.
Yes.
So I'm going to go 2-1 Everton. But yeah, it could be an exciting game to watch this weekend. After that, Liverpool versus Bournemouth.
Yeah.
We'll get back into that, like we mentioned, Aston Villa, but off the back of a great, bouncing back against AC Milan last night. I think I'm a lot more confident going into this game as I was on Monday.
Yeah.
And I think but the problem is now Milan played exactly how Liverpool wanted them to play. And I think Bournemouth are going to take what Nuno did with Forest on the weekend. And I think that they have better players in certain positions where maybe they'll elevate it slightly more of a threat on the counter-attack with someone like Semenyo, who I think played really well against Liverpool last season. I'm not going to go and say 3-0 like I did against Forest again. I just couldn't do that. I'm going to go for maybe a more safe 2-1. I think Liverpool will now be better at combating a low block, I hope. Because I think that Slot seems like the kind of guy where he doesn't make the same mistake, twice in a row. So I'm also interested to see if he rotates. Diogo Jota looks really tired. And I think he started essentially, besides the changes he made against Milan, I think it was the same 11 players in every game. But now it's, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday again, he has to make changes. So I wonder if he maybe gives Chiesa more minutes, not necessarily started him, or puts Darwin Núñez on for Jota, who missed some, there was one great chance that he missed last night that was like, Jota's not in good form, you can see. Yeah. So I think I'm going to go for 2-1, and I'm just hoping that defensively Liverpool don't fall into the same traps that they did against Forest.
Yeah, I do think that this, obviously Liverpool coming into this as favourites, but this is the thing with Dutch managers that I've learned from Erik ten Hag. They don't like to rotate. I mean, in his first season, when he did have a few options there before the whole clear out started, ten Hag didn't really rotate, and it was the same with last season. He was playing Onana. I think Onana had just come back from AFCON action, and he was shoving him in a goalkeeper instead of playing the goalkeeper that he had, the Turkish goalkeeper that United had signed as backup, So it's just... That just seems to be the thing with Dutch managers. They just like to keep the same formation.
So no slotted Feyenoord, barely rotated his starting 11 for the whole time he was there.
Yeah.
So,
and this is the worry that Liverpool, I think, are going to have. But I do think that this is a 3-1 to Liverpool waiting.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm liking that you're more confident than me. Maybe it's because you got a little what's it? You're just ready to stab me in the back.
I'm just cursing Liverpool with this prediction. I'm just going to say 3-0s and 3-1s all the way and hope that Liverpool lose. Hope that it works. I think whether it's through corners and set pieces, obviously Van Dijk and Konate have been found quite regularly there. Big threats in the air over there. And then you still have Salah in good form.
Yeah.
So, I think this is a 3-1 to Liverpool.
Okay, well, I'd love to see that materialize. After that, we have Southampton versus Ipswich, which I think is a bit better than the Leicester-Everton, because I think Ipswich could go to Southampton and punish them.
Yes.
Because I think every game, besides Southampton beating Everton on penalties, I think Ipswich are clearly better, at least tactically, than Southampton. And I think if Southampton have to target this game, they're going to probably press really high. Yeah. They're going to be super aggressive, because this is the game where they're going to get 3 points if they're ever going to get them. Yeah. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Ipswich, just because I think that's exactly what Ipswich wants.
Yes. Yeah, I think these two sides are much better set up tactically and much better coached than Everton, Everton or Leicester, who have obvious tactical deficiencies. I think with Southampton and Ipswich, it's more on the sort of the quality of personnel that they have over less than their their coaching. I do think that this is going to be a sort of 2-0 either way. I think that Southampton, as you say, Southampton need to win this. This is
going to be, if they're going to get 3 points, this is where they're going to get it. But that leaves Ipswich with counter-attacking opportunities, and we've seen them do really, really well and create some good opportunities on the counter in their previous games this season. So if Ipswich can be more clinical with those opportunities, then I think that they can walk away with a narrow win in this one. Yeah.
Cool. After that, we have Spurs versus Brentford. Spurs on the back of that defeat, or pretty much on, almost 2 or 3 back-to-back defeats.
Yes.
This is a game where you expect Spurs to win. And I think last season we think Spurs comfortably win this game. But there's something about them in the first couple games where I don't think they're necessarily in trouble, but they're not clinical at all in front of goal. And I could see them having 25 shots against Brentford and maybe scoring 1 goal.
Yes.
I don't know what your thoughts on that, but I just think that's their stumbling block this season compared to last season, where it felt like they were scoring freely. And now it just feels like it's almost the opposite.
Yeah, if this is, if Dominic Solanke is, I mean, we've given him a bit of pelters, but if this is where Solanke is going to show his value, this is the right game to do it, you know, against a side that's probably going to finish around mid-table, bottom mid-table, you know. But I mean, Brentford we've seen are a very well-coached team, very well-set-up team, and they've got threats themselves. And
they're very effective at set pieces, which seems like a
really, Spurs can't defend set pieces. They really, really struggled against Arsenal. I think I would actually back Brentford. I think Brentford can come away with a win. I just don't think Spurs are in any kind of form. They're low on confidence. That combination between Solanke and Son is not working. Ange Postecoglou clearly doesn't know how to get the best out of these players. He's still trying to work out who fits in where how can he get Maddison into good form? Where does he work as a deeper lying playmaker? Does he work better as a number 10? How does that work? I think that whereas Brentford are a lot more settled, and I think that's dangerous.
Three, I mean, Mbuemo and Vissa have been causing problems for everyone for the past 2 seasons.
Exactly, and they know each other. They've been playing together for a while now. So I think that I would go for a 2-1 Brentford.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go for a 1-1, but I can see, like you said, this is the game for Spurs to now fix their goal-scoring problems. Yes. And if they don't do it now, I'm not sure when they do it until they play Southampton at home or something like that. So I'm going to go 1-1, but I could see it being 2-1 either way. I feel like it's going to be, a battle for Spurs, because it just feels like every game at the moment is difficult for them.
Yeah.
After that, we have the potential revenge, Crystal Palace versus Manchester United.
Yeah, we go.
We'll let you kick things off.
It's going to be a tough one. We've seen United really, the Eagles have had our number. I mean, Olise last season took us to shreds. He's no longer there, thankfully. So that weakens Crystal Palace a bit. And Palace haven't been in, again, similar to West Ham, they've really underperformed this season. They made a lot of transfers and there was high expectations of them, and especially after the way they finished last season. They really did finish last season on a high, but they've really struggled to make anything work this season. Some of the luck going against them, but also, I mean, they've struggled to carve open clear opportunities for the likes of Eze and Mateta up front. And United, as I started, I mean, they're coming into a nice bit of form now, and this is a game that I think United should need to win if they're really going to solidify this run and start turning it into a good run of fixtures, run of wins. So, I'm going to go for a 3-1 to United, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I agree with, I think that this is a great opportunity for Man United, because Palace are not as strong as they were last season in that run.
No.
And I think that with Agate in now, so far we've seen more defensive stability. And I know it's Barnsley, but the confidence that you get from winning 7-0, doesn't matter who it is.
Yes.
It's more about seeing the progress that the team's making.
Yes.
I think Rashford's in great form. And I think this will be an exciting game to actually see from a United perspective, if this is a good run or is it just a blip.
Yes.
So I think United could get their 3rd clean sheet in a row. I'm going to go for a 2-0 United, just because I think De Ligt and Martinez could handle Mateta.
Yes.
And then I think Eze also hasn't really been given a great platform to attack teams.
Yes.
So I think you keep Mateta and Eze quiet, and I think it'll be a comfortable day in the office.
Yeah.
So I think 2-0 United, and then the run continues.
Yeah, I agree. I think that defense has been really, really solid. It's Martinez and De Ligt are really starting to form a nice partnership there. Mazraoui has looked like an incredible signing. Absolute steal of a signing.
And Delo's gone under
and
the
Delo,
radar,
I mean,
but-
he's probably the weak link, if you can call him that, at left back, because he's obviously more of a right back.
But he does his job.
But he does his job excellently. He's still a very, very good player. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Ten Hag utilizes his midfield options. Ugarte got a good amount of game time against Burnley. Does he keep his starting lineup? Does he keep his place in the starting lineup? And how does Casemiro and Kobe Mainu, who was on the bench against Barnsley, how do they sort of fit in? So that's going to be quite interesting to see.
What front three do you think he goes with?
I think I doubt that Haaland's ready yet for this game, because he wasn't even on the bench against Barnsley, so I don't think Haaland's ready. I think Zirkzee again comes back. I just think that, especially in a away game, even though Zirkzee is sort of struggling to find the target, just his hold-up play and his distribution is really, really important when you're playing away. And he's so good at bringing other players into the game, bringing Rashford, bringing Garnacho, bringing Ahmad into the game. So I think Ahmad is back at right wing. And I think Rashford, you've got to keep Rashford at left wing in the form that he's in, with the confidence that he has. I think he keeps his place at left wing. And then you have Garnacho on the bench as an impact player. He's very, very good at being an impact player, running against tired legs. So yeah, I think that's the front three that he goes with. Yeah.
Okay. After that, we have Sunday's games. Brighton versus Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
I think Forest won't be able to do what they did to Liverpool to Brighton. I think Brighton, even though they're not better than Liverpool, are better at dealing with that.
Yes.
And I don't think Forest can replicate that type of performance. I don't think they can, get themselves motivated to do that against Brighton as they would against Liverpool at Anfield. So I'm going to go for 3-1 Brighton. I think João Pedro hopefully comes back for fantasy league purposes. Hopefully he comes back in and does something.
Yes.
And I think surprising that Brighton drew to Ipswich last week, but again, they didn't really do much wrong. I think Ipswich's keeper just had a phenomenal game. They had over 20 shots at goal.
Yes.
It was more Ipswich doing amazing than Brighton doing badly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking 3-1 Brighton.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, yeah. Brighton have been one of the form teams at the start of the season. They've done really, really well. They put United under pressure, got a good win there. And I mean, they, as you say, they were unlucky to draw their last game. So their attack they've got so many options on attack. And if João Pedro is back, I think they missed him. Just for similar to how Zirkzee plays, he's a very good link player. He's very good at bringing others into the attack. So I think if he's back, then that's a massive boost for Brighton, and I think they come away with a sort of a good 2-0 win. I think, yes.
And then the final game of the weekend, the big boy, Manchester City versus Arsenal.
Yeah.
The title decider, 5 games in.
Yeah.
You can start off with this one. I think this is going to be a great game.
Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, City have shown a tendency at the start of the season to sort of switch off, but I don't think they replicate this against Arsenal. I think they'll be switched on from minute one. This is a game that they know they need to win if they're going to take an early lead in that title race.
So it'll be 5 points, I think.
Yes.
Already after 5 games.
Exactly. This is a big game for them. So, yeah. I mean, Arteta showed a bit of tactical flexibility. I think against Spurs, quite interesting, parking sort of 11 players behind the ball a little bit, hitting Spurs on the counter-attack, really showing a sort of a grittier side to Arsenal's game. But I just think that City just have the firepower. This is the thing, is that if you give chances to Haaland that they were giving to sort of Solanke, then Haaland puts those away. Arsenal were really, we tend to forget how under pressure Arsenal were in that first half against Spurs. And while Gabriel and Saliba are more than good enough to cope with a Solanke, it's different when you're playing against Haaland. So
who's in unbelievable form.
He's just hitting hat-tricks for fun. So, yeah, I think this is City's game. I think City will take a win in this one.
Okay.
I think it's going to be I'm going for 3-1 City. Honestly, I'm going 3-1 City. I think this is going to be a
comfortable win for City. Yeah.
So I think that I think it's going to be pretty much a carbon copy of Arsenal at the Etihad last season, where it was similar to how Arsenal approached Spurs last week, where sit very deep, basically shackle Haaland and say, go for it. Yeah, break us down.
Yeah.
And have the players on the counter. Declan Rice is back.
Yes.
I'm just interested to see if Arsenal evolve. And now, last season, it was very obvious, they were happy with the points.
Yes.
I think they wanted, they would have taken all three, and they had a couple chances, but they were more than happy with the points. A point was almost a win for them.
Yes.
This season, I don't think they make the same mistake. I think they're going to go in with that deep, low block.
Yes.
I think Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Timber, they are very, I think the whole Arsenal team's built around being aerially dominant, and I don't see City being able to really phase them with balls into the box for Haaland, because I think, the whole team, they've got monsters in that team. So if City are going to score, I see it being how when City destroyed Arsenal, I think it was not last season, the season before, with Haaland making runs in behind, stretching that high line. I think it's going to be an interesting one, because I think City are looking so good, and we're not accustomed to seeing them look so good already. And Arsenal, they were unlucky against Brighton. And I think defensively, they also look really good. It's almost just going to be a clash of, City unrelenting attack and Arsenal being more than happy to just absorb it. It's just whether Arsenal are wanting the 3 points, and I think they don't make the same mistake this season. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, just because it's just it's like an unstoppable force versus immovable object.
It is a bit like that,
It's just going to be a massive game, and it might not be the most exciting goals-wise, but I think it's going to be a great tactical battle. The master and the apprentice.
Again,
So, I'm going to go for 1-1, but I think if Arsenal win this game, that is absolutely massive mentally. Maybe not in the title race, but just mentally. When do they slip up? If they don't slip up at City, and they beat Manchester City at the Etihad, that is huge. This team is then crazy. It's ridiculous.
I'm hoping that doesn't win happen because Arsenal fans are already unbearable as it is. Arteta hasn't really won much, and apparently he's the best manager ever. So you do make a good point there that Arsenal have looked really, really solid, especially when it comes to balls getting put into the box. And if City are going to score, they're going to have to carve Arsenal with carpet football. They're really going to have to get their passes pitch perfect to get through that defense. Maybe even a 3-2 I would go. High scoring.
Nice. Well, that's it for today's episode, guys. This has been a preview of Matchday 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know what we got wrong, what we will inevitably get wrong, etc. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for joining me, Dol.
Thanks. Another cracking weekend of Premier League football we have in store for us, ending with that huge game, top of the table clash. Let's see what happens. Thanks.